Hello, everybody. So today is May the 7th, 2025. And, yeah. I don't have a lot to tell y'all as far as TV shows and all of that. We did watch Survivor and Amazing Race tonight, so there's that. But outside of those things, we didn't really do a whole lot of catching up. We still got The Last of Us to watch yet, so. And then our Thursday shows, though, they come on tomorrow night, so we'll be watching those pretty heavily. And I know we're going to be busy tomorrow. Even though we're not going to the zoo, we still got things we want to take care of. And there's a scavenger hunt we wanted to do in the Berg. Like I said, I might do some recording of that. Although I won't have a video up tomorrow. I'll save that back for... I think I said I would say that for Sunday night. And then Monday I'll get caught back up on the questions of the day. So that's the plan anyway. Just kind of like I did this weekend. I'll be doing it, or this last week. I'll be doing that again next week. But anyway, so this will be my last video of the week. So here we are. Starting off with the questions of the day to keep that going. And tomorrow is my birthday, by the way. So I'll be 39. And Angela and I are putting down a bid for a house currently, so wish us luck. You know. So wish us luck on that, and then we're also going out tomorrow to Lowe's to get a few things at Lowe's, and yeah, so we're excited, so to speak. We're hoping that everything kind of comes together now. And we got everything we want, and then we can move forward. So, all right. So here we go. May the 7th. The best compliment I've received lately was blank. Oh, best compliment I've received lately. I think compliments on my shirts, probably. Some of my t-shirts that I wear. I've been getting compliments on that. My tattoos. I got a couple of compliments on my tattoos. So I would say those things probably were my latest ones. Oh no, I take that back. Angela said I smelled good. That was just the other day. So when we were out for vacation, I think she was the last one that gave me a compliment. Maybe. Well, no, she gave me one last night, so technically I guess that counts. She, unless I got one sometime today, and if I did, I don't remember it. Well, yes, I do. I take that back again. There was a compliment that I got today at work, so I guess they beat Angela out. Last night, Angela gave me a compliment saying that every time I take a shower at night, before I go to bed, I always smell really good. So I take that as a compliment. But today, my lead said I always do a good job. So I guess I'll take that as a compliment. So, well, I guess I should. So there you go. So that was the last one I got. I don't know if I shouldn't do a couple of these questions ahead of time, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to wait till Monday, and then we'll get caught up on May the 8th, 9th, and 10th. So be on the lookout for those on Sunday night's edition, which I'll try. Hopefully I'll upload Monday this time. But that will be that. Alright, so now we are on to these questions. And I did find my book, my Missouri book, so I can get caught up on that as well. And then we'll do the tarot card deck, and we're done. So, yay. Cheerleaders, the best thing. Pins, Iceland. I don't think I answered that one. No? Okay, here we go. Scuba diving. Handcuff. Okay, so here we go. What do you have a love-hate relationship with? I would say right now it would be my sports teams. I have a love-hate relationship with all of them. With the Kansas City Royals, with the Boston Celtics right now because I love them, but I can't understand why we can't beat the Knicks, but I still love them. They got so close to beating the Knicks tonight, and then they ended up losing by 1 point. I'm like, how? You guys were beating them all game long. How did you let them back in? Or how did you let them in for the first time, let alone let them beat you? But it is what it is. I mean, games go like that sometimes. And then who else? Oh, and it, like I said, the Royals, the Chiefs, obviously with the Super Bowl loss. I love them, but I hate that loss. That was painful, but it's okay. I mean, you can't win them all. I understand that, and don't get me wrong. I would have took it well if we would have just lost to them maybe by 7 or 14 points at most. Something along those lines where it's still a close game, but we just barely lost or something like that. I would have took it well. I mean, okay, that's fine. But we got our, pardon my French, we got our asses handed to us. Uh, it was such an embarrassing loss. I mean, to lose that bad by that many points, that's what sucked. If we would have just kept it close, it wouldn't have been embarrassing at all. It's fine. I mean, it shows everybody we deserve to be there. Losing by that many points is like, how the hell did we get there in the first place? I don't know. But anyway, I would say that would be my love-hate relationship. Um, what is your favorite place to? Where is your favorite place to meditate? Favorite place to meditate? I would say outside. Like especially like if I can get out where like when I go hiking, I can go out to certain places out that way and just meditate out in the woods. I like that. Or like when I'm out fishing, it's a perfect time to go to meditate. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm catfishing because you just wait on the catfish to bite, but in the meantime you can just kind of like meditate and you're kind of like one with nature. I like that, and you're kind of one with God. You're close. It seems like I'm closer to God when I'm out in nature like that. So that's me. That's where I like to meditate. What do you think is the biggest violation of privacy? Biggest violation of privacy. Um, when someone hacks you on your computer, I think that is the biggest violation of privacy at the moment. Is when someone either hacks you or when someone breaks into your house. I, I mean, I've never had anybody break into my house, but I've had people hack my computer before, and I can imagine they both feel about the same. You just feel really violated, and you don't know what they looked at or what they found, but you know, obviously they found things that you didn't want them to find, even no matter what they found. You know, it's that idea, right? So, um, what crime would you like to investigate? What crime would I like to investigate? I don't know. I'm not much of a crime investigator, so I don't know. I have no clue on that one. No idea. All right. Have you ever been kicked out of anything? If so, what? If I guess I was kicked out of a club a long time ago when I was in elementary school, but I don't know if that really counts. At least I don't count it. It was a long time ago, and it was some made-up club, and I can't even remember what the club was now or anything like that. So I have no idea. Like I said, it was a long time ago. Um, Let me see what else. The only thing I can think of right now is when I was laid off at Intersys, one of my jobs. In a way, that was kind of like being kicked out. It was a permanent layoff, so you're not allowed, no longer allowed on the premises, of course, until you get hired back and all this and that because they don't want. I mean, you can still come in and visit. I guess you could be a visitor and just see how they make batteries. They don't mind that so much, but to show off the factory a little bit. But yeah, to actually work there, they don't really want you on the premises, for that purpose unless you're actually there to work because it is a dangerous facility. So I get that. But that's the only thing I can think of. I don't really like to count things from grade school because that was a long, long time ago. Who was my first crush? My first crush. Depends on what kind of crush we're talking about because I can't remember what came first, the chicken or the egg. So I do know that I had a girlfriend when I was 4 years old. Already had a girlfriend at 4, and then I had another girlfriend. Well, I had a crush on a girl at age 5, and I still see that girl all the time, but I don't necessarily have a crush on her anymore. But I do, I do see her a lot. So yeah, Angela doesn't have anything to worry about as far as that goes. Let me put it that way. She has nothing to worry about as far as that goes, but I do see her a lot. But I don't know about every day, but I do see her a lot. But yeah, there's no more feelings like that there. Uh, I'm trying to think of, but as far as TV shows or movies are concerned, I'd say my first crush would probably be Kimberly, the Pink Ranger. I would say that was my first crush. Her and uh, Topanga from Boy Meets World. Those are my first crushes that I can remember anyway. So I'm going with those. Final answer. So, okay, so there's that. So I'm good on my questions now. Stayed caught up on those, but I won't be caught up after today, but it's okay. All right, now we're going into Missouri Day of History and getting caught up here. So I don't think I did very many here in the month of May yet. I think I did May 1st. I think as far as I got. Let's see. So bear with me here. Okay, because I know we did Silver Dollar City. I know I did that one. All right, so we're going to go to May 2nd. This one goes all the way back to 1861. Governor Claiborne Jackson makes a final decision to have state militia assemble at Camp Jackson. The Missouri governor wanted the state to secede from the Union, so tensions were high. Weeks prior, Jackson had told President Lincoln that he would not assemble troops from Missouri to fight against the South. Instead, he ordered Missouri volunteer militia troops to assemble near St. Louis, where he devised a plan to attack the U.S. arsenal and take the weapons stored there. The plan was foiled. The weapons were moved before the attack, and hundreds of troops were secretly sent. Union troops were secretly sent in to surround the militia members, who were ultimately taken prisoner. Well, I can say too that a big mistake on that was probably telling President Lincoln pretty much everything that you planned on doing, and then all he has to is like, oh, okay, well, thanks for the heads up. Now I can plan ahead, and we can basically plan for your demise since you're being so open and honest here. So, but they have a proclamation here, martial law picture there, but I think it's going to be too small for y'all to see, but there it is. That went with it. I don't know. But anyway, all right, so that gets marked May the 2nd. May 3rd, this one goes back to 1948. U.S. Supreme Court rules in the case of Shelley versus Kramer. And when you know it, this is something from St. Louis. Groundbreaking St. Louis case drew attention of the country as a black family sued after buying a home where they weren't allowed to live. So we're talking in days of segregation. This dated back to 1911, when more than 36 property owners entered into a restrictive covenant that blocked blacks and Asians from buying property in that neighborhood. The Shelleys didn't know about the covenant until after they bought the home. Other owners sued to block them from taking possession of the property. The High Court ultimately struck down most restrictive housing covenants as discriminatory and in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So I guess that I would say then that that family got to keep their house. The Shelleys got to keep their house, I guess. At least that's what it sounds like. I don't know, because we didn't really learn about that one in school. Probably should have, because it was, but I don't remember them going over that in school. Not in our school, anyway. But it would seem like something they should talk about. All right, then May the 4th. We're going back to 2003. And we're going to be talking about tornado. Tornadoes ripped through Missouri, killing nearly 24. This is back in 2003. This date brings nightmares to many in the southwest Missouri, as towns including Battlefield, Stockton, and Pierce City were devastated by tornadoes. In that area, 18 people died due to the storms. I don't know if I remember this storm, or I don't know if I really remember it too much. I do remember the one in Joplin, but I don't remember these. Anyway, so 18 people died. The system produced more severe storms than had been in any other week in the U.S. history, with May 4th being the worst day of that sequence. As the Springfield area was hammered, tornadoes also broke out in North Kansas City and Gladstone, which were hit by F4 tornadoes, and Liberty, which endured an F2. Following that day, Jackson was hit by an F3. So that's pretty devastating stuff. I don't know if I remember that. I might if I go back in my brain, I guess. Because, I mean, there's been tornadoes so many times in Missouri, so to put a specific date. But like I said, I do remember one big one in Joplin, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what the date was when it hit. But anyway, so then May the 5th, we go to 1961. Alan Shepard becomes the first African American in space. So Alan Shepard was on board the Mercury Redstone 3 space capsule. Missouri residents had a special reason to watch the liftoff of Project Mercury. The capsule itself had been manufactured at McDonald Airport. An estimated 45 million Americans watched the Freedom 7 streak skyward for the 15-minute cerebral flight before Shepard splashed down in the American Atlantic Ocean, providing evidence that the human body could withstand high G forces with the atmosphere re-entry. So that's really cool. So Alan Shepard himself, I don't know if he really had any ties to Missouri, but evidently the capsule did, because the capsule was made in McDonald McDonald Aircraft. So McDonald Aircraft made it. Pretty cool. All right, for May the 6th, we go back to 2016, and we're talking about Kansas City for once. Kansas City unveils a new streetcar system. I do remember this. I wasn't too far back. KC streetcar system was open to the public. Voters approved this system in 2012 as the city was looking for ways to modernize its transit system to make its growing downtown more accessible without the need for cars. Of course, the streetcar goes basically between River Market and Union Station, with downtown Kansas City in between, and they became a nearly instant success with nearly 6,500 riders per day by 2019. And it's used quite often today, as far as I know. In fact, I believe they might be talking about expanding it a little bit now. Maybe adding a couple more trains, or at least more track. I don't know, but I do know there's been talks about expanding it. So you know it's a pretty good thing when they're talking about that. All right, and then my last one for May the 7th for today, so that gets me all caught up now. We go back to 2009. Mickey Carroll dies at age of 89. Although you may not remember his name, you will certainly remember the character he played. Of course, he's from St. Louis. At least he was raised in St. Louis. So he played Carroll was over 3 foot tall when he was cast to appear as the Munchkin town crier. So the Munchkin Town Crier in Wizard of Oz. So that was his character. So as you know, Carol was not very big. He was 3 foot tall. But that doesn't matter. So after his success, he came back to Missouri where he ran his family business, the Standard Monument Company. Then in 2007, he was immortalized when he and a few surviving Munchkins received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So that's really cool. So there you go. I wish I had a picture of him, but I do not in here. So, but he died in 2009 at the age of 89. I'm gonna have to look and see if his, just out of curiosity now, maybe look and see if they have this, maybe his burial site. I guess I should say maybe his burial site is somewhere here in Missouri. That would be really cool. That might be something to go look up later. I do know too that I've always been wanting to go in there, but I haven't done it yet. Maybe at some point while I'm doing these 4 days off in May or whatever, I might sweet talk or see if Angela wants to do it too. Up there in Lee Summit, the Lee Summit Cemetery, I know, if I'm not mistaken anyway, some of, I know the Youngers, which basically was a very ruthless band of bandits from the Western days, if you will. The Younger Gang. There are quite a few members of them that are buried in that cemetery, and I believe there are a couple of the Jameses that are buried in there as well. Of course, Jesse and Frank are not buried in there. Jesse and Frank James, but I think some of their brothers and sisters, some of their brothers, not sisters, but I believe some of their brothers or relatives anyway are buried in that, or at least members of their gang might be buried in that cemetery. So, along with a couple other famous people, so I've been told. So, I kind of want to check it out sometime and see what we see in there, so to speak. But anyway, that's all I got for today for Missouri Day of History. So, let's get into the last of this, and then I'm going to bed because I am getting tired. So, I'm just going to go ahead and use this tarot card deck again. I know I said I was going to switch off, and I still am, but I'll probably get out my Marvel one again because I know there's a Marvel movie that we went to go see this last week, so I think starting next week I'll probably bust that one out again. I was looking for a Star Wars tarot card deck and I couldn't find one, so I'm not saying one doesn't exist, I just couldn't find one. So I'll just keep an eye out. But at any rate, here we go. So let's see what we get for tonight. First off, we have the, looks like 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups, but it was upside down. So that's what it looks like. But it was upside down, so I'll put it over here to the top. That'll be their starting one. I need to clear the landing here for my cards. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Alright, so next one. And I don't remember what my other ones were, but it's okay. It's okay. I would say most, from what I do remember, I guess. I do remember it, but I kind of remember it vaguely. But I would say, I think most of it came true from my vacation, as far as that goes. I mean, my mini vacation. It wasn't a true vacation, I guess, but it was a mini one. It's still a nice 3 days off or whatever. I mean, we did a lot in those. I think we did more in those 3 days than sometimes people do in a week's vacation. So we had a lot of fun, and I would not mind doing something like that again with Angela in the near future. It was a lot of fun. All right, so we got Temperance on this one. Temperance, and I believe this one was upside down. So there's that. We'll put it to the left. I'm getting a lot of upside down cards. We have the Lovers. We had the Lovers, and this one was upside down. So I'll put it in the center. And now we got another one upside down. We have the Chariot. The Chariot. And it was reversed. So we'll put it to the right. And then the last card. And it's upside down too. Why not? The Hierophant. Hierophant card. And it was upside down. Alright. So we'll see what we got here. I think that these probably should have been right side up. That's what I'm thinking. I can't do that, but that's what I'm thinking. Alright, so we got cups first, and then the rest of these are face cards. So that will be fairly easy, I think. Let's see what we got for cups. Since it's the top card. Plus, I'm already seeing I probably didn't do a very good job shuffling these, but it is what it is. I did it pretty good on the other ones, my other cards so far, but I think this last one probably didn't. Shows I didn't do a thorough job, but that's okay. I can already tell I'm getting tired because I don't know which side's up or down. Alright, here we go. Cups. And it was the 8 of Cups. Alright, here we go. And it is reversed. So, 8 of Cups. You may find yourself wondering whether the veils are always blacker than the other side. At its core, the issue isn't your circumstances, but the lack of clarity about your needs. Understand, instead of longing for what you don't have, spend time learning exactly what you want. You may already have it. Okay, so I'll keep that in mind for this weekend. Because that's more or less just what this is just for the weekend, since we're doing it on Thursday. So, alright, so now we got face cards. So in other words, I may already have what I'm looking for, kind of thing. Like here you are looking for this thing, and you had it all along. So I'll take that as a good thing. Maybe since I already know that, maybe I'll know not to keep looking for it necessarily. So Temperance, you've got to be around here somewhere. It's hiding on me. Well, you know what? I just made it through there. There it is, Temperance. Alright, it says here, sometimes something is feeling off, and it's not the number of stars and stripes on your flag. Stress and anxiety are coming from somewhere. This is your sign to find the source, because it's not going to go away on its own. So I got a bad feeling about something. Okay. And the Lovers upside down. When reversed, your favorite monster may seem like an unfamiliar spirit, haunting you with conflict and turmoil. Lovers reverse is a gentle reminder to explore whether this disconnect is temporary or whether your relationship has reached its end of its lifespan. Well, I don't see that being a conflict this week with Angela. Actually, I think we're doing really good. So maybe it's a relationship with somebody else. That I don't know, but because I get that card a lot actually, and it's reverse. I'm like, okay, I don't see that happening anytime soon, but whatever. All right, and then here we have the Chariot. Some obstacles are too big to avoid. You are being encouraged to pump the brakes. You may want to consider changing your approach and heading into a new direction before you find yourself dangling over the river. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind, I guess. And last but not least, we have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is about challenging excuse me. So the reverse Hierophant is about challenging expectations, dismantling dogma, and saying I don't to conversational beliefs. Similar to how the minister was summoned from beyond, you must look inward to summon your own power. Summon my own power. Well, okay. So that didn't necessarily sound negative. So some of them did, I guess, but okay, so from what I can remember, so basically, something about change. Oh, something, I'm looking for something, but it was there all along. So that I'll keep in mind. And of course, this one, where I got a bad feeling about something, and I might want to trust that bad feeling. This one, something about relationship has come to an end, or something is about to come to an end. Not necessarily a relationship, I would say, but sometimes when you get a reverse, something is about to come to an end. So I'll be wary about that one. And then this one says pump the brakes on something, whatever that might be. So I'll keep that in mind as well. And then the Hierophant, which is telling me that about the challenges of my life or whatever. So not necessarily a bad one. Just says, you're, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a good weekend. I don't think I'm going to have much of anything to worry about necessarily. I think it's going to be all for the better. There's going to be a lot of change going on this weekend, I think. But like I said, all for the better, and I think I'm going to feel completely refreshed going into Monday, knowing that these changes are being done. So, all right. So on that note, let me show you guys. So that is it. That's the cards and all I got for y'all. So on that note, have a good one. Peace out, and I'll see you guys Sunday night or Monday, one of the two. Well, I'll be recording Sunday night, so probably see you guys on Monday, or you'll see me on Monday, I guess, or however you all want to see it. And I apologize about my hair. My hair keeps messing up, but it's all right. It's been a long day. I'm messing up right now too, probably. So, all right, y'all. Peace out, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.